You know, diving into the housing market for 2025, it really feels like trying to solve a riddle. I was looking at some recent data, and it seems 1 in 5 cities across the U.S. saw a significant 20% dip in new home listings earlier this year.
Hmm.
That immediately signals, a tighter market, and it makes you wonder about the ripple effects for anyone looking to buy.
Absolutely. That initial drop isn't just a number. It really sets the stage for, increased competition. It means
Sure.
you as a buyer are likely looking at fewer options, which, yeah, can influence pricing and negotiation power.
Exactly. So for you who's tuning in, this deep dive is laser focused on equipping you with the strategies you need to confidently navigate this evolving real estate landscape. We're going to unpack the key trends shaping the market, explore the crucial mortgage options available, and really arm you with some smart, actionable buying approaches, all drawn from the very latest insights. Think of this as your fast track to understanding what truly matters.
Yeah, and if we take a step back and look at the broader picture, you'll see that this tighter inventory situation is just one facet of the current environment. We're also navigating these persistent discussions around interest rates and observing some noticeable shifts in what buyers are prioritizing. These are really the core dynamics that will define the buying experience in 2025.
And our goal today is to, well, cut through the noise and give you concrete ways to not just participate, but to really stand out as a buyer. We want to help you get your financing in a strong position and avoid those common missteps that can derail even the most enthusiastic house hunter.
And what's fascinating to consider is the convergence of these factors.
Wow.
Our sources highlight several key areas that buyers should be focusing on, like right from the start.
Such as, give us the inside track.
Well, the ability to explore flexible mortgage options is going to be incredibly important in this market. We're also seeing the undeniable power of data, using it intelligently to really refine your house search and, identify opportunities. And it's quite remarkable the extent to which technology is now integrated. Realtor.com reported that AI tools are involved in a significant 60% of real estate deals.
60%, wow.
Yeah, that really speaks to the changing landscape.
That AI figure is still surprising. It makes you wonder exactly how it's being used.
Well, it points to things like predictive analytics for property values, more sophisticated algorithms for matching buyers with suitable homes, and even AI-powered tools for virtual tours and initial property assessments. For buyers, this can mean access to more information and potentially a more efficient search process.
Mm.
But it also underscores the need to be, discerning about the data you're relying on.
Good point. The sources also underscore that in a market where the number of available homes is low, being pre-approved for a mortgage and having a very clear understanding of your budget gives you a real edge.
Oh, definitely.
It signals to sellers that you're a serious and capable buyer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It streamlines the whole process and gives sellers confidence that your offer is more likely to actually result in a successful closing.
And finally, it seems clear that in what can feel like a somewhat uncertain market, seeking guidance from experienced real estate professionals is going to be more valuable than ever.
Exactly. We have insights from real estate advisor Sean Carter, and he really emphasizes the importance of getting that pre-approval sorted early and staying closely informed about those constantly evolving market trends.
He does, and he actually had a really insightful observation. Real estate market analysis reveals that 2025 will prioritize affordability and sustainability. That really frames a lot of what we're going to be discussing today.
So let's dive deeper into understanding this 2025 real estate market. It's far from a static picture. It's a constantly shifting environment where buyer behaviors and those wider economic trends are, well, in constant interaction.
It definitely feels like you need to be on your toes. So, what are the key shifts and trends that you think are most critical for our listeners to be aware of?
Well, our sources point to several notable changes in what buyers are seeking and where they're looking. Firstly, we're seeing a definite increase in preference for homes located in suburban areas, but also in cities that offer a really good mix of amenities, things easy access to shopping, workplaces, and cultural attractions. It's about finding that balance.
That resonates. People want convenience, but maybe with a bit more space or a slightly different pace than a super dense urban environment.
Precisely. Secondly, there's a significant and growing demand for homes that are energy efficient. Buyers are increasingly interested in properties that feature smart home technology and green building elements. This is likely driven by a combination of environmental awareness and the potential for reduced long-term running costs.
We're definitely hearing a lot more about things like solar panels and smart thermostats being high on buyers' lists.
Indeed. And it's worth noting that certifications like A-LEED or Energy Star can be indicators of a home's energy efficiency and could potentially impact its resale value down the line. Thirdly, it's interesting to observe the differing trends in rental markets. Cities such as Austin and Denver are experiencing growth in their rental sectors, which might suggest a segment of the population in those areas is opting to rent rather than buy, at least for now. Conversely, the real estate market in more rural areas appears to be progressing at a slower rate.
That geographical difference really highlights that real estate is so local, doesn't it? What's happening in one region isn't necessarily what's happening across the board.
Exactly. Then we have the ongoing issue of limited housing inventory, particularly in those high-demand areas we just mentioned. When the supply of homes available for sale is low, well, basic economic principles tell us that the competition for those properties increases, and that can certainly put upward pressure on prices.
Classic supply and demand. And the sources actually pointed to some specific price movements, didn't they?
Yes. The fact that median home values in tech-heavy areas saw a 5% increase in early 2024 could be an early signal of where we might see continued price strength in similar markets as we move through 2025.
It's worth keeping an eye on those leading indicators.
So location, energy efficiency, inventory levels, that's all interconnected and feeding into the overall picture. Now, what about the broader economic forecasts? How might those influence the housing market?
Current economic forecasts suggest a period of modest overall growth. This could potentially boost buyer confidence. If people feel more secure in their employment, see their wages increasing, they might be more inclined to make a significant financial commitment, like, purchasing a home.
That sounds like a positive sign,
Uh-huh.
but there are usually other economic factors at play, right?
There are. The primary counteracting force is inflation. If the general cost of goods and services continues to rise, that will inevitably increase the cost of constructing new homes due to higher material and labor expenses. Additionally, inflation can contribute to higher interest rates, making borrowing money for a mortgage more expensive. So it's a bit of a balancing act between potential wage growth and rising costs.
Precisely. The overall outlook for 2025 seems to be a market navigating this balance, where potential wage increases are weighed against rising borrowing costs. This makes it particularly crucial for you, the potential buyer, to stay very well informed about these underlying economic currents.
Okay, so we have a better understanding of the market landscape. Now let's get down to brass tacks. How are you actually going to finance this purchase? Mortgage options are absolutely central to this, aren't they?
Undeniably. Choosing the right mortgage is arguably one of the most critical financial decisions you'll make when buying a home. As our sources highlight, there are two primary types of mortgages that you'll encounter: fixed-rate mortgages and adjustable-rate mortgages.
Let's start with fixed-rate mortgages. What are the key characteristics there?
Well, with a fixed-rate mortgage, the interest rate that you agree upon at the beginning of a loan remains the same for the entire duration of the loan, which is typically, 15 or 30 years. This offers a significant degree of stability because your principal and interest payments each month will stay consistent. This type of mortgage is particularly appealing to those who prioritize predictability in their budgeting over the long term.
That sounds like a real benefit for peace of mind. Now, what about adjustable rate mortgages? They sound a bit more dynamic.
They are. Adjustable rate mortgages, often referred to as ARMs, typically start with an initial interest rate that is lower than that of a comparable fixed-rate mortgage. However, this introductory rate is only fixed for a specific period. It could be a few years, for example. After this initial period ends, the interest rate can fluctuate based on prevailing market conditions.
So the potential for lower payments at the outset, but with the possibility of those payments increasing later.
Exactly. This type of loan might be more attractive to someone who anticipates staying in the home for a shorter period than the full loan term, or perhaps expects a significant increase in their income in the future, which could help offset potential rate increases.
Okay, so understanding the fundamental difference between those two is key. Now, the pre-approval process keeps being mentioned as a really important step. Why is that so crucial for buyers in this market?
The pre-approval process is where you, as a prospective buyer, obtain a preliminary commitment from a lender for a specific mortgage amount. The lender will assess your overall financial health, looking at your income, your credit history, and your savings to determine how much they are willing to lend you.
So it's essentially demonstrating to sellers that you're a qualified and serious buyer.
Precisely. In a competitive market, especially one with limited inventory as we're currently seeing, having a pre-approval letter in hand sends a strong signal to sellers that you are a credible buyer and that your offer has a higher likelihood of reaching a successful closing. It gives you a significant advantage over buyers who haven't taken this step.
Sean Carter really emphasized this point. He said pre-approval is your ticket to serious negotiations.
Hmm.
That really underscores its importance.
It does. Sellers are much more likely to take your offer seriously if they know you've already been vetted financially by a lender. It reduces the uncertainty for them.
So, from a practical standpoint, what are the steps involved in getting pre-approved for a mortgage?
Well, the first step is to gather your essential financial documentation. This typically includes recent tax returns, pay stubs to verify your current income, and bank statements to show your savings and any other assets you might have.
Sounds like gathering the key pieces of your financial puzzle.
Exactly. Once you have these documents organized, you'll want to reach out and apply to several different mortgage lenders. This allows you to compare the various interest rates, fees, and loan terms that each lender is offering, ensuring that you secure the most favorable deal for your individual financial situation.
So it pays to shop around for your mortgage, just like you would for any other significant purchase.
Absolutely. By going through the pre-approval process, you gain a much clearer understanding of your affordability, and you'll be in a much stronger negotiating position when you do find the right home. It helps you avoid the disappointment of falling in love with a property that's beyond your financial reach, and that demonstrates to sellers that you are ready to make a serious offer.
Okay, we've got a good grasp on the market dynamics and the crucial step of securing your financing. Now let's pivot to actually finding the right property. What are some effective buying strategies for navigating the trends we're seeing?
The key here is to approach your search with a mindset focused on making sound, long-term property investment decisions. As we discussed earlier, there's a significant current demand for homes that offer energy efficiency and are situated in convenient locations. Keeping these preferences in mind can really help narrow your focus.
So it's not just about what meets your immediate needs, but also thinking about what will hold value and be desirable in the future.
Precisely. It's vital to evaluate a location not just for its present appeal, but also for its potential for future growth and the overall trajectory of its market trends. This involves doing some proactive investigation.
Like, what kind of investigation should our listeners be undertaking?
Well, our sources provide some very specific actions you can take. You should be looking into any planned infrastructure projects in the neighborhoods you're considering, things like new transportation links, road improvements, or community facilities. Changes in local zoning regulations can also have a significant impact on a neighborhood's future desirability and property values.
These are the kinds of things you might easily overlook when you're just scrolling through listings.
Exactly. It's also prudent to compare historical price trends in your target areas over a longer time frame, perhaps looking back at the last 5 years. This can give you a better sense of the stability and growth potential of property values in those locations. And of course, continuously monitoring interest rate shifts is crucial, as these directly affect your long-term affordability and the overall market sentiment.
It really comes down to doing your homework beyond just the aesthetics of a property. Sean Carter offered some valuable insights here as well, didn't he? Something about balancing personal needs with an understanding of the market.
Yes, his advice was that the best property investment decisions blend personal needs with market insights. It's about finding that sweet spot where your personal preferences align with sound financial considerations based on, well, market realities.
And he had some more granular recommendations, I recall, beyond just the general principle.
He did. He emphasized the importance of thoroughly researching the local school district, even if you don't currently have children, as the quality of schools often plays a significant role in maintaining property values. Commute routes and accessibility to major transportation hubs are another key factor to consider. Additionally, gathering information about any planned commercial developments in the area can give you insights into potential future growth and convenience. His team at Carter Realty reportedly focuses on identifying neighborhoods that might currently be underappreciated but possess strong indicators of future growth.
So looking for those emerging areas with potential upside.
Exactly. And he also suggests considering the potential for renting out the property in the future. This can provide a valuable degree of flexibility should your personal circumstances change down the line.
That's a smart way to think about future options. Now, given this dynamic market, it seems like the role of real estate professionals is also evolving. How are real estate services adapting to the conditions we're seeing in 2025?
Yeah, the overarching trend is towards more personalized and increasingly data-driven services. Real estate professionals are leveraging technology and in-depth market data to offer more tailored support to their clientele.
What does that personalization look like in the real world? What kind of specific service offerings are we talking about?
Um, Leading real estate services are now providing things like customized market analysis reports that are specifically tailored to your individual buying criteria and the particular neighborhoods you're interested in. They can also offer expert guidance in navigating the often complex landscape of mortgage options, helping you identify loan products that best align with your credit profile and overall financial objectives. And some firms even provide advice on the potential tax implications associated with buying or selling a home.
So it's moving beyond just showing potential properties.
Absolutely. The support extends to helping you make well-informed financial decisions throughout the entire process. Furthermore, when we talk about expert guidance in this market, it's not just about the initial purchase transaction. Professionals are also increasingly employing property management strategies to help homeowners mitigate potential risks, especially if they're considering renting out their property at any point.
Risk mitigation sounds particularly important in a market that could experience some volatility.
It is. This can involve providing regular updates on evolving market conditions, utilizing sophisticated analytical models to assess potential risks associated with a specific property or location, and developing long-term investment plans that are customized to your individual financial goals and risk tolerance.
The source material actually included a helpful table outlining some of these property management strategies, didn't it?
Yes, it highlighted the advantages of proactive property management practices, such as conducting regular property inspections and implementing thorough tenant screening processes, which can ultimately lead to fewer vacant properties and more reliable rental income. It also emphasized the growing integration of technology, particularly AI-powered tools for market analysis, which can provide valuable insights for accurately pricing properties for rent or sale.
So leveraging technology to make smarter, more informed decisions. And Sean Carter's team offers consultations on all of this, I believe.
They do. They can be contacted via email at Email Protected or by phone at 813-723-1450. The ultimate goal of these enhanced real estate services in 2025 is to deliver tangible results and help buyers realize their financial aspirations through successful and well-informed property transactions.
Okay, let's shift our focus a bit now to property investment specifically. It's not just about buying a home to live in, it's often also about building long-term wealth. What are the key considerations when you're looking at a property from an investment perspective?
Understanding the principles of property valuation is absolutely fundamental if you're viewing real estate as a long-term investment. In a market that can experience rapid changes, your ability to identify properties with the potential to maintain and increase their value over time is crucial for making profitable ventures.
So, what are the core elements that contribute to a property having lasting value?
Well, our sources point to several critical elements. Location remains paramount. Properties situated in desirable areas with convenient access to high-quality schools, reliable public transportation options, and essential local amenities tend to demonstrate greater resilience and appreciation value over the long run.
That makes intuitive sense. Convenience and strong community features are always attractive.
Exactly. Secondly, it's important to monitor broader market trends. Keeping track of job growth and population shifts in different geographical areas can help you pinpoint neighborhoods that might currently be undervalued but are positioned for significant future growth.
Looking for those opportunities where you can get in before the wider market recognizes the potential.
Precisely. And finally, it's crucial to consider any planned future developments in the area. Planned infrastructure projects, such as new highways or expansions of public transport networks, can have a substantial positive impact on a property's value over the long term.
So, it's about having a vision for the future potential of a location, not just assessing its current state. The source material had a really key quote about the importance of data-driven property evaluation, if I recall.
Yes, it emphasized that smart investments start with data-driven property valuation analysis. Let's explore opportunities tailored to your goals. This really highlights the necessity of moving beyond subjective feelings and relying on robust data and analysis to guide your investment decisions.
And Sean Carter's team at Premier Realty Group specializes in uncovering these hidden gem properties by utilizing advanced analytical tools. And his contact information remains email protected, or 813-723-1450.
That's correct. And the key message here for anyone looking at property as an investment is to carefully balance your current acquisition costs, what you're paying for the property initially, with its potential for future financial gains. And don't forget the importance of thoroughly researching local regulations and the specific characteristics of the neighborhood you're considering to ensure long-term value appreciation and avoid potential pitfalls.
Now, Zooming out again to the wider market, how do we effectively interpret all the continuous shifts and changes we see in the real estate landscape? How do we become adept at analyzing these market trends?
Um, Robust data and insightful expert analysis are truly indispensable tools for understanding and navigating real estate market trends. Real estate agents who are at the forefront of the industry utilize this information to provide valuable and timely guidance to their clients on a range of critical aspects, from accurately pricing a home for sale to identifying promising locations for potential investment.
So they act as interpreters, helping us make sense of all the complex data points.
Exactly. They closely monitor vital metrics such as median sale prices and the prevailing levels of housing inventory in different areas. For example, a significant and sustained decrease in the number of homes listed for sale in a particular city can be a strong indicator of a highly competitive market where prices may be pushed upwards due to increased buyer demand and limited supply.
And I imagine those trends can vary quite significantly from one region to another.
Absolutely. Sophisticated analytics can reveal these crucial regional variations, helping potential buyers and investors pinpoint areas where they might find more favorable deals or uncover emerging opportunities that might not be immediately obvious.
Sean Carter had another particularly insightful quote regarding these market patterns and how they translate into actionable advice for buyers.
He noted that market patterns today reflect a balance between supply constraints and evolving buyer needs. Data helps us translate trends into actionable advice. It's about taking those broader market movements and making them relevant and applicable to your specific home buying or investment goals.
What are some of the recent key developments and projections that really stand out when we look at these trends?
We're observing a continued increase in demand for those eco-friendly homes we discussed earlier, as well as for properties that offer convenient access to efficient public transportation options. Projections also suggest sustained growth in major tech hubs like Austin and Denver, which will likely continue to influence their respective housing markets.
So those areas might continue to experience strong price appreciation.
That is a strong possibility. Other notable trends include a growing interest in walkable neighborhoods where residents can easily access local shops, restaurants, and other amenities on foot, and the ongoing prevalence of virtual tours for viewing properties remotely, a trend that really accelerated in recent years.
Virtual tours certainly offer a great deal of convenience for initial viewings. So, what's the overarching message for potential buyers and investors in light of these evolving trends?
Well, these shifts in the market present both potential challenges and significant opportunities. For informed buyers and investors who take the time to understand these underlying trends, it can provide a strategic advantage in their decision-making process. And it's interesting to see that real estate agents are adapting to these conditions by increasingly focusing on offering more flexible contract terms to help navigate any market uncertainties that might arise.
Okay, we've covered understanding the market and finding the right property. Now let's circle back to a crucial element, the financial aspects. We touched on the main types of mortgages earlier, but what are some deeper considerations when it comes to selecting home loans and developing effective financing strategies?
Choosing the most suitable home loan is absolutely critical for achieving your long-term financial objectives as a homeowner. The specific type of loan you select will have a significant and lasting impact on your monthly mortgage payments and your overall cost of homeownership over the entire loan term.
Let's revisit those main loan types and discuss their ideal applications, drawing from the information in our sources.
Certainly. Fixed-rate loans, with their consistent monthly principal and interest payments maintained throughout the typical 15 to 30-year loan term, are generally most advantageous for buyers who prioritize predictable budgeting and desire a clear understanding of their long-term housing expenses.
That stability is a major benefit, especially for first-time homebuyers navigating a new financial landscape.
Exactly. Adjustable rate loans, which offer an initial fixed interest rate for a specific period before the rate becomes variable and adjusts based on market conditions, might be more appealing to those who anticipate residing in the home for a shorter duration than the full loan term, or who expect a significant increase in their income in the future, which could potentially offset any future increases in their interest rate and monthly payments.
So there's a trade-off between a potentially lower initial cost and the risk of future rate fluctuations. What about FHA loans? Our sources mention those as well. What are the key things to know about them?
FHA loans, which are insured by the Federal Housing Administration, are often a very viable option for first-time homebuyers and individuals with lower credit scores because they typically feature more lenient credit qualification requirements and often require a smaller down payment compared to conventional mortgage loans. This can make homeownership more accessible for a wider range of buyers.
That's important information for those who might be facing challenges with a large down payment or a perfect credit history. Now, interest rates are constantly in the news and on people's minds. How should potential home buyers be thinking about interest rates in the context of these different loan types?
Well, with fixed rate loans, as we discussed, the interest rate is locked in at the beginning of the loan term, providing you with protection against any future increases in interest rates. With adjustable rate loans, while the initial interest rate might be attractive, you do assume the risk that interest rates could rise after the initial fixed rate period expires, potentially leading to higher monthly payments. Given the current market outlook and discussions around potential interest rate movements, there's a general sentiment that securing a fixed rate loan early on might be a prudent strategy for those seeking long-term financial stability and predictability in their housing costs.
Because if interest rates do go up, you're shielded from those increases with a fixed rate loan.
Precisely. And it's crucial for home buyers to fully understand how even seemingly small changes in interest rates can have a significant impact on the total amount of interest you will pay over the entire lifespan of a 15 or 30-year mortgage. It really underscores the importance of considering the long-term financial implications of your loan choice.
It definitely emphasizes the need to look beyond just the initial monthly payment. Sean Carter, our mortgage advisor, had a good piece of practical advice here as well, didn't he?
Yes, he recommends making it a practice to review your mortgage loan terms on an annual basis. This proactive approach can help you ensure that your current loan still aligns with your evolving financial goals and to explore whether there might be more advantageous refinancing options available to you in the current market environment. And as a reminder, he can be reached for personalized mortgage advice at email protected or by calling 813-723-1450.
Okay, so you've successfully purchased your home and secured your financing. Now let's talk about protecting your investment over the long term. What key property management strategies should new homeowners be implementing?
Effective property management is absolutely essential for preserving the value of your home and ensuring its continued functionality for years to come. As a new homeowner, taking some straightforward proactive steps can significantly reduce the likelihood of encountering costly repairs down the line.
What are some of those practical, easy to implement steps that new homeowners should prioritize?
Um, Regular inspections of your property are crucial. This includes things like checking for any signs of leaks, examining the condition of your roof and gutters, and ensuring that your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning (HVAC) systems are operating efficiently. Creating and adhering to a budget for ongoing home maintenance is also vital. A widely recommended guideline is to allocate approximately 1 to 2% of your home's current value each year for routine upkeep and potential unexpected repairs. Lastly, it's good practice to maintain thorough records of any repairs, maintenance tasks, or upgrades that you undertake, as this documentation gives valuable information when you eventually decide to sell your property.
That annual maintenance budget acts as a safety net, preventing small issues from escalating into major, expensive problems. And Mark Allen had a really insightful quote about this aspect of homeownership, didn't he?
Yes, he wisely stated, "Proactive care turns homes into lasting assets. Routine checks prevent water damage and structural decay." This really highlights the fundamental importance of not neglecting those seemingly minor maintenance tasks, as they can have significant long-term consequences.
So the key is to be proactive rather than reactive when it comes to home maintenance.
Exactly. And if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by the process of coordinating with contractors for repairs or keeping track of maintenance expenses, don't hesitate to consider seeking assistance from professional property management services. They can handle many of these responsibilities on your behalf, freeing up your time and ensuring that maintenance tasks are handled efficiently. Utilizing readily available home maintenance checklists can also be a very effective way to stay organized and ensure that essential tasks are not overlooked. And as always, for personalized advice tailored to your specific property and circumstances, Sean Carter remains a valuable resource. His email is email protected, and his phone number is 813-723-1450. Implementing these proactive property management strategies will go a long way in protecting your investment and keeping your home in excellent condition.
Okay, we've covered a vast amount of information today, from understanding the intricacies of the 2025 real estate market to navigating financing options and implementing essential property management strategies. But for our listeners who are actively looking to buy, how do they effectively translate all of this valuable theory into practical action? Where should they turn for that crucial expert guidance?
That's an absolutely critical question. While conducting your own thorough research and gaining a solid understanding of the fundamental principles is essential, the guidance and support of experienced real estate professionals are truly invaluable when it comes to successfully navigating the often complex process of buying a home, particularly in a competitive market environment like the one we anticipate in 2025.
So it's a combination of proactive personal research and actively seeking out expert advice that ultimately leads to the best outcomes. What are some key pieces of advice that industry leaders are currently emphasizing for prospective homebuyers?
Well, they consistently underscore the importance of thoroughly verifying the history of any property you're considering and fully understanding the local zoning regulations that apply before you even submit a bid. It's also crucial to ensure that the terms of your chosen mortgage loan align strategically with your long-term financial goals. Don't solely focus on the initial interest rate or the lowest possible monthly payment. And despite the increasing prevalence of virtual tours, physically attending open houses remains a valuable way to gain a first-hand impression of different properties and make meaningful comparisons.
There's definitely a different feel you get from walking through a property compared to just seeing it online. Now, Sean Carter has consistently been highlighted as a key resource throughout our discussion. Let's ensure our listeners have all the necessary information to connect with him.
Absolutely. Sean Carter is a highly experienced and knowledgeable resource for both individuals who are purchasing their very first home and seasoned buyers looking to expand their real estate portfolio. You can reach him conveniently via email at email protected or by calling him directly at 813-723-1450. He also maintains a helpful website, meetscion.net, where you can find a variety of free guides and resources on important topics, such as understanding current home values and effectively navigating contract negotiations. His team is well equipped to provide valuable insights into emerging neighborhood trends and to help you navigate the often confusing landscape of available financing options.
So, whether you have some initial questions or need more in depth personalized guidance, he's definitely a valuable contact to have in your corner.
Precisely. And as our sources consistently emphasize, by effectively combining these readily available expert resources with your own diligent research efforts, you will ultimately be empowered to make much more informed and confident decisions when you're undertaking this significant step of buying a home.
All right, so as we bring this deep dive to a close, what's the single most important message you'd want to leave with anyone contemplating buying a home in 2025?
I'd say the most crucial takeaway is that successfully navigating the 2025 home buying market requires a thoughtful and proactive approach that encompasses careful planning, staying continuously informed about those essential market dynamics like interest rate fluctuations and evolving buyer preferences, and actively leveraging the knowledge and experience of trusted real estate professionals.
So, knowledge is indeed power in this market, and having the right support system around you is absolutely essential for success.
Precisely. It's also vital to develop a deep understanding of the specific nuances of your local real estate market and to make effective use of the data-driven tools and resources that are available to you, whether that involves comparing various mortgage options or analyzing the specific market trends within your target neighborhoods.
And Sean Carter is definitely someone worth reaching out to for expert guidance on both the financing aspects and those all-important property assessments. His contact details once more: email protected or 813-723-1450.
That's right. Ultimately, by having a well-defined plan in place and the support of knowledgeable experts, you significantly enhance your chances of finding the right home at the right price within the evolving and often dynamic real estate landscape of 2025. Remaining informed about both the intricacies of home finance and the prevailing market trends will be absolutely crucial for achieving your home ownership goals.
So, considering all the factors we've discussed today, the increasing demand for certain home features, the broader economic outlook, and the undeniable value of expert guidance, here's a final thought for you to really consider. What specific neighborhood characteristics do you believe will be the most highly valued in the next 5 to 10 years? And what concrete research will you undertake to validate that very specific hunch?